Hi friends, welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany. Today's video is the start of a brand new series where authors I like get to pick my TBR and we see how it goes. I thought this would be a really fun project to do. Over the years that I've been a booktuber, I've had the privilege of getting to know a lot of really amazing authors who I love, and I thought doing a series like this would be a fun way for me to try books that might not be on my radar while also introducing you to some authors that I'm a fan of. So today, for our first installment, the iconic Chuck Tingle is going to be recommending books for me to read. He very kindly agreed to participate. And I'm about to show you the clip he sent in with books he recommended. But if you are not familiar with Chuck Tingle, you might know him from his fantastic horror novels, Camp Damascus and Bury Your Gaze, both of which I absolutely loved, or from his erotica with titles like Unionized in the Butt, and Now Everyone is Safer, Happier, and Better Paid. Erotic retellings of classic literature such as Don Quixote, or books like Trans Wizard Harriet Porber and The Bad Boy Parasaurolophus, or Trans Wizard Harriet Porber and the Bad Boy Parasaurolophus. I think I said that wrong, but point being, he is a very prolific writer who has a lot of interesting things to say. He's got a new horror novel coming out from Tor called Lucky Day this summer that I have pre-ordered. I have not read it yet, but I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. Highly recommend you check him out if you haven't already. And without further ado, here is the Chuck Tingle to pick my TBR for this video project.
Hello, Bethany and viewers. Chuck Tingle here. I'm the writer of plenty of erotica, plus horror novels, Bury Your Gaze, Camp Damascus, and Lucky Day, which is either coming out soon or already out, depending on when you're watching this. So check out Lucky Day. You can pre-order it. I have a couple of recommendations for you to read. I don't see you do a lot of nonfiction books, so I picked a nonfiction, Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. Love this book, a favorite of mine, Adventures in the Culinary Underbelly. I hope you enjoy it, really good. And then I have a graphic novel here for you because I know that I think you do some of those, but this is horror, and I'm not sure if you've read it. So Plunge by Joe Hill. Really good creature feature, 80s kind of monster energy, and really great. I like this one a lot too. So hope you enjoy.
Thank you so much to Chuck for agreeing to do this and for having such thoughtful picks. I have not read either of these books. Neither of them were on my radar, which is always really exciting when I get somebody recommending me something, because I do read pretty prolifically. And it is true, I read a lot less nonfiction than fiction, so I'm very happy to be reading that. I did a little looking and it turns out that the first volume of Plunge is available on Kindle Unlimited, so I will be reading this digitally. I'm excited to try it. I actually haven't read from Joe Hill before, which I feel like is a huge oversight, so this might be the push that I need to get into some of his work. And then I went on Pango Books and used some of my credits to buy a copy of Kitchen Confidential. So let's open this up and see what we got. There we go. Okay, this is, oh cute. This is well wrapped and came with a little bookmark and everything. All right. And we have Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain, Adventures in the Culinary Underbelly. I have not read this, but I am familiar with Anthony Bourdain. I've periodically watched some of his television shows about cooking, and I think he's funny and interesting, so I feel like this will be a good time. And look, I got a little reading list bookmark and a read sticker, so that was nice. So I have my TBR, Plunge and Kitchen Confidential. I am gonna go and read both of these books, and I will be back to let you know my thoughts as I finish them. I'm back and I have finished reading both books, so let's talk about them. First, Kitchen Confidential, Adventures in the Culinary Underbelly by Anthony Bourdain. This was really entertaining. Honestly, not something I would have picked up on my own, but it had me going back and researching Anthony Bourdain's background. And it's interesting because this is the book that kind of launched him into the spotlight. He'd been a fairly successful chef in New York prior to this, but this is the book that landed him TV deals and sort of pivoted his career to what I know him from, which is some episodes of No Reservations where he would travel to different parts of the world and eat foods. And so it's kind of interesting because I can definitely see how this was the book that really took off, even if he didn't expect it to. It's written as sort of an insider's look at the gritty underbelly of the restaurant industry. A lot of it is set in New York City, some of it is other places on the East Coast, but for the most part he worked in New York. And it is entertaining, it's horrifying. He kind of has this like dark, dry sense of humor through all of it that really comes through, and I think makes it an entertaining ride through his life. So a memoir as someone who started at the bottom, worked his way up, dealt with drug addiction, got off it, made something of himself. And clearly this is something that is written for people in the restaurant industry. Like the language he uses, the specific terms he uses, it feels like you're getting a glimpse of what it really looks like behind the scenes, especially in like the 70s and 80s, which is some of when this was happening, what he was writing. And it's pretty interesting. I imagine reading this as somebody who's worked in that industry, you'd probably get more things out of it, but even if you have no knowledge of the restaurant industry, you can pick this up and learn some things. And I think the thing that really shines through as well is his genuine passion for food and cooking. And you see that in the way that he describes all of these foods. The fact that even as a kid, he started eating really adventurously, it kind of tracks. And he's this kind of person who has this, you know, body sense of humor. He's kind of a hard ass, but he also has compassion and feels like a real person. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. It's messy and wild, but really fascinating. And I'm glad that I had a reason to pick it up. Again, I probably wouldn't have if it wasn't for this project. I also read Plunge Volume 1 by Joe Hill, which is a horror graphic novel, or I guess comic, but it's all bound up into one. There could be additional volumes, but it tells a pretty complete story in this one volume, and it was really good. Heads up, if you don't like body horror, this might not be for you, but I thought this was fantastic. And again, I hadn't really heard of it before. I hadn't picked up anything from Joe Hill before. I really need to try more from Joe Hill because I thought this was great. So this is following a salvage operation that is going into the Arctic to see what they can recover from a research ship that disappeared 40 years ago. But when they get up there, they find a bunch of the crew from that ship still alive, not having aged a day, and missing their eyes, and something is very, very wrong. I won't tell you what happens, but it was a wild ride. It kept me very interested and entertained. It's got great characters, it's got really disgusting body horror elements to it, and what would I say, like monsters and a little bit of a Lovecraftian vibe to it. I really enjoyed it, and I think it uses its format as a graphic novel to great effect, where the visual imagery is part of what is so disturbing. It's the kind of thing that could be very cinematic. You could see it as an episode of a TV show. It works, it was great, and again, nothing that was on my radar. So thank you so much to Chuck Tingle for agreeing to participate on this project and for recommending me 2 books that I probably would not have picked up if it wasn't for you. I appreciate it, and I enjoyed both of them. This was great. If you've not read any of Chuck's books, I do recommend them. I'll have some linked in the video description down below, along with the 2 books that I read for this video project. And let me know your thoughts. Have you read either of the books that I was recommended? Have you read Chuck Tingle? Because if you haven't, you definitely should. His stuff is fantastic. This was a really fun project, and I will be back with more authors in different genres in the future, so stay tuned to see what authors recommend I read. And I think it's a particularly interesting view into what are the books that these authors are reading and loving and suggest to people around them. So thanks again. Talk to me in the comments down below. If you made it to this point in the video, drop me some kind of a food emoji to go with Kitchen Confidential, or let me know any of your thoughts in the comments. If you like this video, it always helps if you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.